As you guys know, both Augusta and Yuno drip marketing has been officially revealed, alongside some of their animations and their possible elements. Yo Nation, welcome back to another video. Let's discuss these two characters and if I'm going to be summoning or not. But before jumping into it, here's a word from our long-term channel sponsor, Loot Bar. You're ready to pull for your favorite character, but there's one problem. No loot ice. Instead of overpaying through the in-game store, head to lootbar.gg, today's sponsor, where the recharge process is fast, safe, and simple. You'll get an 11% discount plus a 10% new user coupon, saving you almost 21% compared to the official price. Your loot ice will arrive in seconds and you'll be back in the game summoning top-tier characters and weapons. I was super skeptical of this, that I ran my own test, and it says that you'll get delivered your loot ites in 30 minutes, but I got them in under 5 minutes. It was really fast. So with thousands of positive reviews and unbeatable prices, lootbar.gg is the smarter way to recharge in WutheringWaves. Click the link in the description in order to start saving money now. First off, let me set the scene. Version 2.6 of WutheringWaves is expected to drop around August 28, 2025, which is coming up fast. I honestly still think we got for Lova like yesterday now. For the banner structure, Phase 1 is rumored to be Augusta, the fiery Electro Broadblade DPS based on her looks and drip marketing. Phase 2 follows with Yuno, the lunar-themed arrow resonator. Honestly, I'm not sure exactly why they chose these two elements for these characters. As to me, I feel like for Augusta would be a fusion character instead of an Electro user, since she literally have her hair on fire. But I kind of understand their decision to make her Electro, since we just got a completed set of Fusion Team with the arrival of Lupa a couple of updates ago. So, Yuno, I would be okay with her being maybe Glacio instead, since she is using a lot of water effects and so on. But I also get why they chose Arrow, since she is very close to Cartothea watery/wind animations. That's just my thinking process, but they maybe have other reasons to do this way. Something I don't want to really get into in this video, since I'm saving it for a whole other one. But maybe it would be cool if Kuro designed other elements in WuWa to make it more interesting, but I could be just coping, honestly. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and what do you think of that? So to get back to our two lovely ladies/resonators, yes, two 5-star characters back-to-back phases. Basically, think of it like a 2-course meals. First, you get the spicy steak, then the soothing dessert. The summoning for these two characters is going to be super tight, so depending on how long you've been saving, planning which characters you are going to be prioritizing is probably going to be a must. Let's start with Augusta. The name Augusta is of a Latin origin, means majestic or exalted. It is the feminine form of the name Augustus, which was a title given to Roman emperors. The name carries connotations of nobility, grandeur, and respect. And based on the initial animations we got for this character, Augusta lives up to the emperor's status. I think Augusta is basically the game's equivalent of a lightning bolt dressed in Roman armor. According to official word from Kuro and previous, she's an Electro Broadblade DPS with Gladiator's Heart, plus actual flames for hair. How cool is that? Her official gameplay reveals that basic attacks might contain quick swings with Electro effects, with her doing AoE damage. If I had to guess, the cherry on top that she summons a literal griffin that does damage. What we also see in the video is that she might have some sort of transformation that literally makes her sword extend and make her attacks a little bit faster. Now, I'm making these conclusions based on animations, but it's very difficult to conclude since I don't have her exact skills sheet. But if I had to make a conclusion based on her animations, she's a DPS vessel with high burst and flashy mechanics, and if she happens to have a buff on her outer skill, she might be what your Electro team dreams of when they basically go to bed. On the other hand, Yuno brings calming moon vibes with her arrow damage. I'm not sure what kind of weapon she's going to be using, but if I had to guess, maybe a rectifier, but it wouldn't make sense to me since we literally just had for Lova that uses rectifiers as well. So maybe she will be a sword or maybe a gauntlet user. It would make more sense since those are the weapons that we didn't have for a while. As for her skills, I can see her being some sort of a buffer or a sub DPS, and if she happens to buff heavy damage, she could revive a lot of arrow resonators. From previous, based on the official gameplay that we got from Kuro, she uses a lot of watery effects while hovering on top of a crescent, and I must say that the attention to details when it comes to her model is insane, so props to Kuro for that. I believe she could be a meta changing support, especially that there is rumors for upcoming endgame content that requires a little bit of a grinding, so she could be some sort of like a buffer that makes the rotation much easier and also makes the characters shine in this end game content. But yeah, we have to wait and see. Before answering the question of should you summon for Augusta or not, I really think that the game lore can play a significant role in determining whether someone should summon or not. So to talk about Augusta, Augusta is a gladiator from the Septum, wielding humanity and electricity like a boss. She literally has a golden sun on her forehead. Meanwhile, Yuno is also from the Septum. She's a moon priestess who sees somehow uncertain future through lunar cycles and brings healing to change fate. Her quote, "While the moon cycles, I remain the anchor," gives me literal goosebumps when she says that, which is really cool, which really like affects my decision making, especially that I'm on a tight budget when it comes to summoning. But yeah, let's move on to the summoning. Or speaking of the summoning them isn't just a mechanical choice in my opinion. It's kind of like adopting parts of the lore, which I admit makes me feel slightly more cultured when it comes to WutheringWaves story. So let's talk real numbers. Even though math and gacha tracking is basically a love-hate relationship, if you are free to play or low budget, you might want to pick one banner, not necessarily both. Many seasoned rovers recommend prioritizing Yuno due to her maybe support capabilities that we are yet to see. If you are maybe electrified and burning for DPS, I feel like Augusta might be your thrill, especially that her animations are really badass. And this is something that I mentioned before. I feel like Augusta really reminds me of a dragon boss from Elden Ring. I'm leaning towards Augusta personally more than Yuno, but I certainly think if Yuno is going to be very essential when it comes to making the rotation for Augusta much more easier, and also like buffs her damage like maybe similar to what Phoebe does to Zani, I feel like I'm compelled to maybe summon for Augusta. So my priority is going to be Augusta and then Yuno, depending on how many copies I'm going to be getting for Augusta, and also if I'm going to be getting her weapon as well. So maybe it's going to be Augusta and then Luno, so I can see what I work after seeing how much asterisks I'm going to be left with after those brutal summons based on my luck. So yes, set your roster priorities, stack your asterisks, and maybe roll smart depending on what you need, and also like depending on what kind of end content we're going to be seeing in WutheringWaves right now. I feel like WutheringWaves is lacking that end game content, and I feel like we need some sort of like grindy, a little bit of grindy that you can like do on a daily basis, that you can like maybe like stack up like some sort of materials from or something. But yeah, that would be really cool, because based on what I see on Reddit and also like on Twitter, a lot of people are tired from the mini games and they want to see like something that they can do every day that sort of like grindy, especially for the people that love grinding. I feel like I'm leaning towards Augusta, as I mentioned earlier, and I feel like Augusta is the main DPS in this like scenario of these two characters. But hey, if you are lucky enough or have the will, cash, or willpower, gacha math is a gamble after all. So but yeah, make the planning and see what kind of like characters you have in your roster and what kind of like team you are trying to build. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if this video sort of like gave you maybe an overall sort of like image challenge or helped you like sort of like draw the conclusion towards these two characters and maybe gave you some sort of like depth, because like as I said, it's like we don't have any single like sort of like details for their skills so far, but as the sort of like their skills get revealed, I feel like we can maybe draw the conclusion then. But yeah, let me know which characters you are going to be summoning for if you had like to choose one. But yeah, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll be catching you guys in the next one. Bye bye.